My name is Marguerite Batta. I'm a graduating senior studying biology pre-medicine with a minor in drama, and my coach was Khadijah Washington for this Silver Leadership Challenge. These are my slides for the Silver Expo titled Power in Progress. A working goal. Growing up, I felt like I was always in constant competition. I had a sister 1 year younger than me, and a brother 3 years younger, and a sister 7 years younger than me. I was smart, but I wasn't quite good at math. I was friendly, but I wasn't popular. I was athletic, but I wasn't an MVP. And I'm the eldest of four. I felt that they should look up to me. And yet I had a tendency to shy away from leadership because it always felt like too much responsibility for me. A form of that manifested and continued on to university. At the time of the picture on the slide, which was April 2016, I was so sure of what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. I was 16, recently committed to UNCG, and I was looking forward to taking that road to become a neurosurgeon or a cardiothoracic surgeon or figure out whatever the discipline I wanted to do, how I should get there without taking any side roads. It was a challenge, and I felt I was up to it. However, the problem with challenging yourself is that if you're not careful, it becomes impractical, unwavering, and you become so stressed that in one way or another, failure is inevitable. In any case, the plan was going well until my sophomore year of university. I'd recently become an RA. I was taking a lot of difficult courses, and my grades tanked, as did my mental health. I allowed myself that time to work on it. And I worked on it, and I worked on it, and I'd seen a lot of progress. It's still at the beginning of this year, I was disappointed that it didn't seem that I would get to the place that I thought that I wanted to be in the time I wanted to be there. I'd placed too much weight on my own shoulders, and I tried to move too dramatically in all of my goals. During the duration of the Silver Challenge, Khadijah and I worked on making concessions. I took the time to make my way up, taking leadership opportunities here and there until I became more comfortable with the idea of it. Remembering that I didn't have to do everything within a ridiculous timeline as long as I did it was helpful in removing some of that stress. I slowly eased up on myself. I remembered that I could take a gap year to repair my record. Is surgery really what I wanted to do? Give me the opportunity I probably needed to reassess my wants and my options without needing to stress myself out. And while on this road, I took a trip to Wake Forest University, as shown on the slide, to learn more about their biomedical graduate programs. I was always drawn to research and health, and this was a great way to learn more about both worlds. There it really hit me that I was in my senior year. I was finishing undergraduate with research experience and a biology major under my belt, and I realized I could afford to take a little time to think about what I really wanted to do, where I really wanted to go, and recognize the road to get there isn't always a straight shot. And that was okay. Moreover, I didn't have to prove myself to anyone, and I don't have to be disappointed for me taking my time. I'm passionate about healthcare. So for my engagement, that's what I initially chose to do my volunteering in, particularly the health of people who are disparaged, ignored, and less likely to receive the care that they need. As a result, I was looking at volunteering in health facilities, specifically women's health facilities. It was difficult initially because for the majority of the fall semester, I didn't have a means to get to where I needed to go. So I prioritized the best that I could. I had found a couple of facilities that seemed to have what I wanted, and I'd narrowed it down, but after doing some research, I realized that this particular women's health facility didn't promote the same views that I stood for, and I didn't want to volunteer with a group whose ideals I thought were damaging. So I turned my attention elsewhere. I signed up to volunteer for Habitat for Humanity. Greensboro is a huge food desert, as we know, and has a poverty rate of about 18.6% in 2018, according to the US Census Bureau community survey for 1 year estimates. I wanted to give back in a bigger way to the city that I'd lived in for the past 4 years. From my position, I couldn't overturn the poverty rate, which I knew. I could, however, help make the quality of living better for people put in these positions. The first project I'd signed up for was a housing project set to begin in mid March, and it was canceled due to our current circumstances. And then they were all canceled. But that doesn't mean that this is going to be the end of my community engagement. Wherever I am, wherever I'll end up being, I'll help where I can. We strive for social change to continue the work of the people that came before and to better the lives of the people that will come after. As a people, we've come a long way, but there's still more to be done. There are nuances that aren't quite even. There's change that can still be made. Admittedly, I'm not out there protesting in my free time, and I wouldn't call myself an advocate. I'm not the most active person for social change. When I do my small acts of deviance, I think of what I hope the world would be. I think of myself, my family, or my motivation in everything that I do with every decision that I make. What I want to do is deconstruct from the inside, make changes on a small scale and excel on a large scale. Vote for politicians who care about the lives of others and aren't passive to their struggles, and work with doctors that pay attention to and actively strive for the health of everyone that steps foot through their double doors. I think that there's a better way. I hope generations after mine would be considerate, but you can't change the minds of people whose minds don't want to be changed. However, you can push for accountability. I'm quiet with my ideals, but I do stand for something, and I'm not comfortable yet. And the pictures are my family, my motivators, with the exception of the youngest sister who is missing in the photos, in the bottom photo, but she is in the top one. My grandmother and the picture to the left just reminds me of what came before and the work we do to what should come after. Going on, I'll continue to run the long race and give back to my family and my community. I'll continue to pursue a career in science, medicine, and healthcare, and to volunteer in healthcare education. I hope to assist in the change of people's views on sub Saharan African countries, starting with my own country of Cameroon, a task my mother also actively works towards. Education is how to fight ignorance, and I hope to be a part of the education of others in healthcare disparities against minorities and women, and on that line, promoting sexual health education amongst the situationally disadvantaged in the US and in sub Saharan Africa. On a more social note, because I do believe education is a way to open, if not change, minds, then I hope to better educate myself on social change, my own worldly views, alternative forms of energy to combat climate change, and to fight the long fight for equity in the United States. A quote to which I adhere: real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. Confucius. And I'll take him up on that. Thank you for watching my presentation.